Hello, my name is Miranda HP,
And I'm Connor Calloway.
and we are the Bountiful Bards,
Please join us in our first ever recorded D&D campaign.
the Fountains of Cathaidra.
That spot seems to be getting worse. Oh, hello, dear. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing all right. How about you, dear?
And just fine. I was looking at the ceiling, noticing something I need later on, but we won't worry about that now.
That sounds like a you problem.
It is definitely a me problem. Are you excited to be back?
So excited. Can't you see it in my face?
I can definitely see it in your face, at least half the face that I can see with this little divider we have between us. But it helps with the recording, so it must be there.
Uh-huh.
We're definitely not recording the day before this episode is supposed to go live. We have definitely not been super busy with other life goals going on. We have definitely not hit a point to where we can actually relax a little bit more and record more often.
No, don't be silly. We simply exist in a void where we don't exist until we're needed, then we pop into existence and disappear again. Just like in all video games.
Just like in all video games.
Where does your companion go when you don't summon them?
What philosophical understanding is that based off of? Nothing's not real if you're not perceiving it.
Oh, the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.
I think that is
that
it.
Appearances, like objects will change when they are observed.
Right,
The
absolutely.
act of observation changes the action of the object or thing. Yeah.
That's the scientific principle of it. I wonder if there will... I'll have to look into it. It's probably some ancient, nothing's real if I don't look at it kind of BS. So.
No, it's the thing I was telling you about the other day, how they found out that the universe actually is unreal on a quantum level.
Oh, true. My brain hurts.
It's okay. It's a bit too early for that.
Right.
There, dear. It gets
There.
into math that has no numbers, which my mom would be very excited about, but most people would be like, say what now?
How can it be math with no numbers? Isn't it science at that point?
Real math has no numbers. Yes, Mom.
That does, your mother being what was her degree in again?
She has a PhD in electrical engineering.
Yeah, that thing. And that's just the beginning of the iceberg. There's a whole bunch more up under there that I can definitely tell you redacted about and redacted again. So
Redacted. So
Redacted.
anyway, before the men with pointy objects that may or may not be weaponry come back, let's continue on with today's Fountains of Cathaidra.
we can. You one dragon?
Well, he started out after we beat a weird frog thing, and then Baby Dwago took us to Tower Observatory in the mist.
In the mist, okay. And do you remember why you were going to this observatory to talk with this mama dragon?
We're looking for the Fountains of Cathaidra, and we're looking for information about it. And Mommy Drago might have information for us.
Wonderfully done. I just wanted to make sure that everybody else listening knew what was going on. Not that, of course I remember everything that happened. I'm the DM. I keep everything down in my little notebook here.
I could read the synopsis, but you prefer I read the synapses.
A certain somebody at this table has been teaching herself this program to the point where she's been creating loads and loads and loads of music. We didn't even announce this. This is just how scatterbrained we are. Miranda has started a YouTube channel where she's putting up all her ambient sounds of dark academia, lo-fi, things like that, deep magical chanting, everything that you could possibly want in some D&D ambience or just writing ambience or whatever you're doing. What is the name of your channel, dear?
The Bardic Mira. And now I have to do, deep chanting. I hadn't even done any deep chanting yet. Now I need to.
Oh, I thought you did
Anybody
deep chanting.
out there is a bass, male or female, hit me up. I could use you. Because I am not a bass at all. The lowest I get is maybe baritone.
I would be terrified of a woman bass. I was like, hi, I'm Connor. Hello, I'm Amanda. Whoa.
Well, no, see, the funny thing is when they speak, a lot of times they sound completely normal. It's just that they can hit that register in their voice without it sounding garbled.
Right.
It's amazing. But yes, I have been doing a lot of music, part of it just on a whim, part of it because I have particular affinities for certain music when I'm doing stuff. I have mild synesthesia on top of, ADHD and being autistic. So certain sounds are really annoying to me and get frustrating. So I look for music that's really good to help kind of fill in the background, fill in the gaps, prevent things from being sensory overload. So if you're out there and you also like to have something on in the background, I try to create a whole bunch of stuff that just fills it in, lets you listen to something, keeps your brain from frying and murdering everybody in your immediate surroundings, at least for the moment that the playlist is on. I can't guarantee anything beyond that. But yeah, check it out at the Bardic Mira, and I'm sure Connor will link to it in the description.
Oh, I guess I could.
Yeah, it's
That's
probably
smart.
easiest.
Yes, I'll do that.
Yep.
All right.
Hope you
and
enjoy.
Don't forget to pick up a copy of my book. It's a winter-themed book. It's Christmas with Swords and Monsters and Magic. We won't go further into that. So it was about you just then. Now we can start again.
Into the fountains of Cathaidra.
Lia, you and your sibling both stand before legend. A true dragon in every characteristic looks down at the both of you. The silvery fog that was a moment ago hiding this magnificence now fades away, revealing a grand chamber decorated in jewels. Lia, Jimothy, saviors of Rysar. I am Tathios, the sword of the sky. I owe a debt to each of you. How may I assist? As this dragon talks, you feel her voice just reverberating through your bones. She's so close. You see Jimothy tense up because of the teeth that are probably as large as he is. Rysar kind of walks behind both of you and kind of curls himself around the two of you just to kind of encourage you and let you know that it's okay.
Like the cat rubbing against your leg thing. Like,
absolutely, because all dragons act like cats. If How to Train Your Dragon taught me anything, that is the perfect mentality for dragons.
Been established, yes.
Yeah, at least young dragons.
Yeah. The old ones too. They just want to pretend they're not like that, so they act super aloof.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to kind of, because like Jimothy is very much in his like, oh god, I've been called on in class and didn't do the homework face. So I'm going to.
You sure it's not fear of dying?
With Jimothy, it's kind of both, really.
Okay.
I think that he has a deep-seated fear of dying because he didn't do his homework, because of our parents.
Oh, I can relate to that. I still have nightmares about, waking up like at the end of a semester and realizing that I have a class that I haven't gone to the entire time, but they never took me out of, but I have an exam and it's going to ruin my GPA. Anyways, keep going.
Huh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to step forward and say, well, yes, we did save your son. I promise we didn't do it in any sort of like, haha, now you'll owe us a favor thing, because that would be weird. Didn't cross our minds, just saw a poor creature needing help. So we were really happy to do that, and I'm glad that he's doing well, and I hope he's eating all his veggies. Gotta get some fiber. We are looking for the fountains of Cathaidra, and we're hoping that you might either know of them or know about exact locations or something, or at least general vicinities might be able to help us with any of this. Ring a bell?
A few seconds pass. And Tathios, even though she was about probably 15 feet, her snout was about probably 15 feet away from you at the time, she comes very slowly closer to both of you, to the point that she's almost touching, and just breathes in through her nostrils just to take in both of your scents real quick. You feel cold wind rush past from behind you. Your cloak billows a little bit as she breathes you both in. And then very carefully slinks back and speaks out, her breath smelling damp, but also in a fresh grass dew sense. It's a very pleasant smell. I know of these fountains, but my question is, why are you asking of them? They have been hidden for some time.
1 second, sorry, I was looking up the
Take your time.
name of the lady.
The lady?
Sivelin, right?
Yes.
Sivelin, sexy
Yes.
golden lady.
Sexy golden lady
Yes.
Sivelin. Your note-taking skills are wonderful.
Thank you. Okay, hang on, let me write that down. Sexy golden lady Sivelin. Okay. We were kind of sent on a mission, quest thing by Sivelin. We found her echo, some essence of her, and she told us what happened to this world, and it seems like whatever was set in motion and arrested and stopped may continue again in some capacity, or some other version of global catastrophe might happen again. So we're trying to avert it.
So, you believe finding these fountains will help save the world?
Ain't that just the way?
Well, I can't deny my interest in the fountains, and long have I thought about finding them myself and re-releasing their magic back into the world. I do know of these fountains and of where they are located. My mother, long may she rest, told me when I was just a little hatchling myself that the grand people of this world created 6 divine artifacts to help funnel magic into our reality, far stronger than it would be naturally. Though this may seem reckless, it did help my kind, for you see, we are creatures of magic. If we had no magic to help keep us sustained, we could not exist because of our size, our ability to fly, our ability to breathe weapons. Ever since the fountains were closed off, I have been unable to fly more than once a month. My magic is gone. I cannot transform and become smaller if I want it to be. We dragons can do that after a while.
The new Terry Pratchett. Sorry.
I have often contemplated going down to your city, finding this fountain, and making it flow once more. But a dragon as large as myself it will more than likely bring the ire of your country, and the last thing I need is an entire faith seeing me as their demon.
Yeah, and you might, no offense, knock a few things over, and we could be your, agents. Let us be your slightly more nimble executors of your will in this capacity.
Jimothy raises his hand.
Yes, Jimothy.
He glances at you and goes, "You're not the teacher." Tathios goes, "Yes." You said you can't fly as much. I'm assuming because you get exhausted without magic helping you. No disrespect. How can he fly? And he kind of looks over at Rysar, who's still behind him, and Rysar just kind of stretches his wings a little bit and flaps them. My son is still fairly young where the simple biologies of our nature can sustain us. As he grows older, he will lose his ability to fly as well. Rysar goes, "Yeah, they're not really looking forward to that, but I understand. These fountains," she continues, "if opened, could create an imbalance among your society. You do understand that, correct?"
There already is imbalance. I think the interesting thing about humans is that even if things are perfectly balanced, humans are really good at finding a way of imbalancing it. It's just one of our skill sets. So I think a temporary imbalance as we attempt to right a terrible wrong is necessary. Sometimes you don't really have a choice.
I see. Well, you will find each of these fountains in each of your cities along the civilized road. They are hidden and locked away. Before, when the great Tower of Radiance stood at the center of this land, the 6 temples were beacons to behold, and they were maintained by the magocracy that resided there. They had a key that could stifle the flow if need be, or intensify it in other times. You see, there are 6 wells of magic that we pull from, both you, little bard, I can smell the notes about you and your little fighter there, and myself as a dragon. No music right now, please.
Shh, hush, hush, hush. Thing on my neck is doing it by itself.
The way this magic works, and she kind of lifts up her hand, and there's actually a little bit, her giant,
Claw.
massive claw, and begins to wiggle her other claw, her other hand above it, and you start to see 6 strands of light appear from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple.
I'm really hoping we get some kind of mystical, misty map thing.
She goes, magic is made up of these 6 strands, and each of us has a different level of each strand within us that weaves together in a beautiful fabric, or an elixir, as it was once called. Each of these fountains were named after each of these strands, which are from 6 characteristics believed to make up our power: strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. And as she says, each one lights up from red to strength, and then down the list all the way to charisma, a purple violet. However much strand you have of one particular beam will make the type of magic user you are. You, Lia, will be strongest in the violet, where you, Jimothy, will be strongest possibly in the red. But yet, all of them are a part of you, make no mistake of that. You need all 6 in order to conjure the way we do. And it just so happens the fountain that is down there, hidden, is the fountain of charisma. Where it is located, as I recall, was on an island somewhere in the middle of that lake. But that island has since vanished, and I fear that the faith has hidden it away for one reason or another. I do recall hearing whispers of their fear of the unfaithful magics taking power again, because they believe it destroyed this world. I speak this because your eyes say you know this already.
Oh, yes. I feel like we're doing a Glinda of Oz thing. I don't think you even read that book.
No.
Funny how we get on the same wavelength. There's the big island that was in the middle of a lake that they sunk it mechanically. So that's where my brain immediately went to. Glinda, help us. So you say that this island has disappeared in the sense that it was submerged or hidden.
More than likely. But I do know this.
Which? Those 2 things.
I am unsure.
Oh.
But if you find the key, it will lead you to the fountain.
And where
of the times I went to these fountains to bask in their radiance, I was told such things. I was curious. Humanity, people, have always been curious to me.
We are that. Where might we find said key?
I'm sure your faith has it hidden away somewhere. Either down at their grand capital, or perhaps here among the city. Where would you think they would hide such a key?
Well, like you said, there are 6 fountains, and DM. Would Lia know this? Because Miranda can't remember at the moment.
Sure.
Well, are there 6 major cities along the road?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and each major city, I'm assuming, has a temple, like a major church.
They do.
So, Lia says, well, it would make the most sense to me that in order to keep something out of the hands of the uncultured masses, the hoi polloi, the swine of the vulgar populate, that maybe each of the major churches in the area would have this thing as a key, but they probably wouldn't be told it's a key. That's probably something that the big high up poobahs are told. Ale and women. Yes, it's 2 things. And you'll get it later. So they were probably not told that it's a key. They're probably just told that it's some kind of sacred relic that they have to keep and maintain. And most likely whatever the head bishop or whatever has it somewhere in that church. How many years has it been since the faith took over?
Centuries.
Centuries? Okay.
Good question. I'm thinking, so what year are we currently in?
I don't know, Deanne. What year are we currently in,
I'm going to find out. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'm going to find out right now as I
It's
open
the
up
year
the tab.
of the brain goat.
Almost 1,400 years.
Okay, so it's been 1,400 years.
After.
1,400 after, what did you call it? Shrieking?
It's just called after, but yes, it's after the shrieking.
After a shrieking situation, or ASS, ass. So we're 1,400 ass.
God damn it.
Okay, so Leah's pondering this, but okay, so essentially Leah's thought process is, okay, so most likely in a major church, probably called a relic of some sort. It's been 1,400 years, and considering how places like this like to hang on to power by keeping people uninformed, there's a high possibility that the person who is guarding this relic doesn't actually know what it is. And much like a lot of things that after enough time has passed, when nothing, big or bad happens, you forget why it's important to keep something a certain way. So it just becomes a ritual as opposed to an actual. So she's hoping that it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is the first Pope's hat in a box that we're supposed to have here because it's a hat.
So here's my question. If we go after this key, we're going to have to get all of them.
Yeah.
What's to stop them from, once we get the first one, they'll probably start remembering what these relics are for at that point, don't you think?
Well, the best type of heist, right, is the one where they don't know that they've been stolen from. So we need an idea of what these keys look like. I wonder if they actually look like keys.
They are... She holds up her palm and conjures a minor illusion again and says, and you see floating there is a hexagonal disc that looks very similar to the symbols that the clerics wear in the symbol of the faith. Except this one, all the points are connected with a circle in the middle of the hexagon as well. And there seems to be, it looks old, like almost made of clay, almost brittle. Brittle, that's the word, thank you. I almost said brittle. Brittle. She says, this was the key that I was shown at the time.
So do you think they all look like that, or do they all look different?
I suppose they all look that way.
So, okay.
But wait, who? So we're going to break into the church of Adder, the first church of the faith?
Sure.
Okay.
So?
Who's going to have the key? The archcleric themselves?
Or it might just be one of those things that's literally on a pedestal somewhere. They keep relics that are just like, yes, this holy, mighty such and such was nice to a guy once, and now we have his nasal cavity because it's important.
Do you know how fortified the temples are?
Yeah, but only
the Lance sends his entire regiment there to protect it at all times, especially when they have the ceremonies and everybody comes to hear the archcleric speak.
Okay. So we go when they're not doing that.
Maybe we should go while they're doing that so everyone's distracted.
And nobody ever looks at the help.
We're going to be help?
Well, the church always has janitors.
They vet the help.
Yeah, but on events, when there's a lot of people and somebody has to pick up all the confetti.
Okay. You do realize how big Archcleric Kabad is, right? The man will kill me with his bare hand.
Well, that's why we don't get into a fight.
Okay.
Well, or we try not to.
But, all right.
Because remember, we don't want them to know that anything has been taken. So what if we were able to make a facsimile once we actually find the thing and figure out what it is?
Don't use big words with me.
A fake. Something that looks like it.
Why didn't you just say fake?
I did. I said facsimile.
That's not... No, you said facsimile. No, I don't know what that means. Just use
fake.
the word fake. Why use big words when small words matter?
Nuance, young man. Nuance.
What's nuance mean?
You'll learn.
I'm fucking with you.
We know.
He just kind of throws his hands up at you, and you hear a... This makes me miss my siblings.
My little piano necklace starts playing whatever this world's version of Furelise is.
Rysare goes, I could fly you down. I could drop you right off on top of the temple if you wanted me to.
No, I think that will draw way too much attention.
But I'm small and stealthy. And he kind of just goes, puts his little head down
Knocks
as if
over
he's like in a stealth mode.
Knocks over a pot.
And his tail actually kind of whips around and hits Jimothy. And Jimmy's like, hey!
Clank.
No, my child. I do not want you going anywhere near the city. We do not want...
DM, remind me what city we're next to?
You're next to Miro.
Miro, that's right. Okay, so...
The city next to your home of Dewdrop.
So we know Miro pretty well.
We've been playing this game for a long time. You realize that? Like
Yeah.
over a year. Go ahead.
So we know Miro pretty well.
80 weeks. Yes.
So we would know the ins and outs. We probably know the local church folk, right? Do we know because we know the religious festivals, we know the patterns, we kind of know the gist of it.
That is true. Judging by the current calendar, you do know probably tomorrow there is a grand gathering for, part of the ceremony and being a part of the faith. There is a grand gathering supposed to occur probably in the evening.
Okay. Do we have
I should have had you roll in a religion check, but since, it's kind of like us, church Sunday mornings, Wednesday afternoons. Every church does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just something you would know. I'm not saying that negatively. I'm just saying you grow up with the pattern, you know the pattern.
Right. So, do we have any allies in Miro?
Do you? Why don't you tell me?
I am asking you to remind me.
I am asking you to remember.
That's why I'm asking you.
Who in this city have you gone to before and asked for help?
Look, man.
Or
I wouldn't ask
if
I look, my last let's see. Okay, when was the last time we went to Miro? My notes here go back to July.
Yeah, of last year.
No, of this year. I don't have the ones because those are over there.
You don't remember your half-orc uncle at
I was
the
trying to remember
finish?
if he was at Miro or not.
Uncle Larga?
Uncle
Larga.
Yeah. I do remember Larga.
That's okay. Miranda's also in several other campaigns, and she's always the note taker, so it does get a bit
confusing.
Sporadic.
Twisting.
Yeah, twisting. Twisting's a good word.
Well, that and I'm doing 8 billion other things in real life too.
Come here, Lia.
Okay.
And you see as the big hand goes down and grabs you very gently, like in a cage, all 5 claws curl beneath your feet, and you kind of just quickly step up so that she can get you in her hand, and she lifts you up off the ground. The wind's rushing. You grab a hold of her fingers so that you don't fall, and then she drops you about 60 feet up in this large chamber. Remember, we're on this stone platform.
I'm going to put a Wilhelm scream in there. Right
and
there.
She slowly turns you around and points one clawed finger over your face that looks like somebody holding a greatsword at a device. Look through there.
I look through there.
Long cylinder device that has an eyepiece on the end.
Gee, a telescope.
It could be. You don't know.
I'm going to look.
You look.
Do I roll for telescope?
You do not roll for telescope, but you do roll for perception.
Do I get advantage because I'm looking through a telescope?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. 16.
16. You see nothing but mist.
Cool.
And the ancient dragon goes, "Oh, forgiveness." And she waves her hand, you see, to the left of you. And then the mist opens in a cylinder fashion and breaches out to where you can see through this down into the lake and the city of Miro through the telescope.
Ooh.
She points, as you can see, the temple is 6-sided, which seems to be a running theme among your faith. 3 stories tall. I'd imagine any holy relic is beneath the stone or up on the highest floor where I'm sure the officials sleep. The private quarters, I have watched them before. During Mass, I have seen the guardship exit this building to stand upon the wall and garrison the wall that surrounds this building. So yes, I do feel your best time will be when they are outside. It would not be outside of the realm of possibilities for my son to drop you off on top of the temple. but he will not be able to easily pick you up. You will have to find your own way out. I have in my hoard a means to make him invisible for a short period of time.
And can I cast invisibility on somebody else as well? Or
Can
just
you?
myself?
Read your spell.
Well, I just see invisibility. I don't have it written down anywhere. It just says Bard, 1 action, touch, VSM, concentration. I don't think I can cast on 2 people at once. I think that has to be 3rd level.
It has to be a greater invisibility,
Which
if
I don't have.
remember correctly. Let's check the file. Let's check 5e. Hold on. 5e.
Okay, so what I will do then is, because we know that the big shebang is tomorrow, so tonight I'm going to spend time putting invisibility at 3rd level into my Symphony of Ivory.
All right.
So that, and that will be the only spell it will be able to have.
Okay.
Which sucks. But that way I can cast invisibility on both of us without wasting any of my spell slots.
All right.
Unless Mama Dragon has an extra one for one of us. Does she have an invisibility for Jimothy?
Unfortunately, I only have 1 potion for my son. My hoard has diminished because I have had no means of gathering new magical artifacts. More than likely because they are no longer being made.
Fair.
We have quarters here for you two. You can certainly rest, and we'll have a meal prepared. How does this roasted boar sound? My son can go and get one.
Delightful. Jimothy, right up your alley.
You're still up like 60 feet above. He can't hear you.
Right up your alley, Jimothy.
What?
If you wouldn't mind bringing me down, the lad is a bit deaf.
And she reaches and grabs you. And you're wondering how she got up there. She's fairly tall, but she also can like grab a hold of what looks like a little stone handheld and pull herself up. Though she is weakened by the lack of magic, she is still a massive being and still strong in comparison. Think if a dragon was wayfish or feeble, she doesn't really look it, but it's still a dragon.
It's kind of like when you see those hairless cats. Like you think of cats as just goofy and cuddly, and then you see a hairless cat get ready to pounce. You see all the muscle ripple underneath, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's under there. I forget." Yeah. That.
or I guess another, like I could say, like a weak elephant, an old weak elephant can still crush you.
Yeah.
So she very carefully picks you up and lowers you back down to where they are, and she says, "In the morning, Rizar, you will drop them off and you will come straight back here for safety. If you two are able to get the fountain open, we'll go from there."
Tathios.
Yeah.
Ms. Sword of Sky.
Yeah.
Do...
She smiles at that and kind of closes her eyes and turns her head a little bit like it's nice to hear.
I am a bard after all. Do you have something to do with the mists that are here? Or can you influence them?
I can influence my domain, my lair, but only so far. I cannot reach down into the city.
So, because the mist appears to be a pretty common occurrence, so if we can maybe time our arrival while it's very misty, that will probably help as well.
I will see what I can do.
Because it's already going to be kind of cool and damp in the morning. So I figured we could do that.
But enough of this planning. We haven't had visitors in so long. Lia, would you please play us some music tonight while we prepare your meals and a place to stay? Jimothy, food.
But of course.
Jimothy's like, what? Rizar's like, come on, you're going to go hunting with me. And then Rizar dips between his legs, throws him back on his back. Jimothy does not hold on. He's actually laying flat on his flat on his back as Rizar goes, whoosh, whoosh, and takes off out through the chambers and to wherever they may go. And that's where the night will end. You can do your planning, and then tomorrow you're going to infiltrate basically a sub-Vatican.
Ha, that's what you get.
That's what you get.
All this wealth here.
We'll see what happens. Thank you for listening. Please leave a review anywhere you found us. You can reach out to us on Twitter at Bountiful Bards. We hope to see you again on the civilized road.
And bring bread and cheese.
As the story goes, until then.